Hi everybody, welcome back. My name's Claire. I'm going to do a really fun experiment. I love straight pours. I love the effects they get, all the fingerlings. I absolutely love them. But I often wonder if layering up the cup differently, I wonder how much impact that will have on the end result. So I'm going to do 3 little paintings. All are going to have exactly the same measured amount of paint. I'm going to layer up 3 different cups. So cup number 1 will have 1 layer of each colour in. Cup number 2 will have 2 layers of each colour. Cup number 3 will have 3 layers of paint of each colour. Then I'm going to pour them out onto the 3 canvases just to see what the difference is. So I often wonder whether if you do really thin layers, it has much difference to having thicker layers. So I'm going to find out. So let me show you the colours. These are the colours I'm using. So it's just very basic bold colours. I wanted quite a lot of contrast between the colours so that you can see the results of the experiment. But equally, they all go really nicely together. Some of my favourite colours. So 3 Montmartre colours. I've got turquoise, magenta and gold. And then 2 Essentials Royal & Langnickel. There's white and then there's dark ultramarine. They're all mixed with PVA glue and water pouring medium, which I make myself. And I'll put the recipe for that in the description of this video. I'm going to use clear plastic cups so that you can see the colours. I'm going to layer them all in the same colour order, which is going to be white, pink, gold, turquoise, blue. Yeah, so for the first cup is going to have 1 layer of each colour. So let's see. I don't want to do 1 layer, but this is an experiment, so let's do it. It just goes totally against my instincts. It's part of the experiment. Let's do it. Let's just pour it all in. Because I like the colours to mix up, but that's the whole point of doing this experiment, to see what's going to happen. So that's the white in. So cup number 1 done. So next I'm going to do the cup with, it's going to have 2 layers of each. So I'm going to pour in approximately half each time. I'm just going to have to judge it. So 2nd cup done. And then the 3rd cup. So I'm going to try and put 1/3 of each colour in. So there you are, 3 very similar but totally different cups. The canvases I'm using are 22 by 30 centimetres. I've just mixed up some extra turquoise and I just want to put a puddle down in the middle of each. The reason for that is I'm so worried about this cup. I know it's part of the experiment, but I just think I'm just going to end up with just white, especially if the colour rolls over itself. So again, I'm going to do the same for each. I just want to put a puddle on each because I think it will help it not roll over itself more. So I'm doing this by eye, just trying to get roughly the same amount of paint onto each, and then I'll just tilt it around a little bit, and then I will pour into the centre of that. Right, canvas number 1. This is with 1 layer of each of the paints. I'm going to do a straight pour right into the centre. I will twist my hand around a little bit and up and down, just as I think, as the paint comes out, just what I I'll do what I think feels right at the time, and I'll do that for all 3. What else to say? Nothing. I'm going to pour out of this bit here where I poured in. So let's just go for it, see what happens. Well, I am very, very pleasantly surprised, because that actually looks really quite pretty. I am absolutely amazed. I was just expecting big, big blocks of colour, which I kind of, yes, I kind of have got it, but towards the centre I haven't. The centre's beautiful. Right, let's give it a good torch. I'm amazed. I've definitely set out this experiment with an idea of what I think will work best. And my theory is I think the one with the more layers will look better. So it would be totally amazing to have a surprise. So I'm not going to put more Flow Extender down because it's quite heavy. There's quite a lot of paint on there. So I'm just going to tilt this as I feel is right. So I'm going to be losing the blue. This is what I mean about the colours rolling over, but I might be able to keep some blue there. It doesn't really matter as long as I do the same for all 3 paintings. It doesn't really matter how I choose to do this, as long as it's consistent across the 3. So in fact, I'll try and tilt them out in the same way. So I'm going to the 2 far corners first. Yeah, I think that's probably what I will do. And then I'll turn it round. And then that way, at least I've tipped off the same amount of paint as well on each canvas. So there goes that dark blue, unfortunately. So I'm just getting the weight of the paint back to the centre. Wow, I'm absolutely amazed because that is really pretty. I'm not so keen on this massive band of white, but I don't dislike it actually. So I'm just going to get my corners. There's just a bit missing from all the corners. And then I'll just catch all the drips underneath. So canvas number 2 has got the 2 layers of each colour. So I'm going to just repeat what I did with the first one, exactly the same. Okay, so there's definitely a bit more detail in the centre. There's some light purpley colour there. What's that come from? It must be the blue and the pink mixing. So I've got some mixing going on, so some different colours. So, let's torch it. So I'm going to go over this corner first, so just exactly the same as the other two, the other painting. So ideally, I would have liked to put Flow Extender down there just to stop myself losing some of the colour. Okay, and then I will turn it round, come off this corner. Right, there's definitely more in this one. I'm definitely preferring it. There's a lot more detail. There's a lot more mixing. So you've got a slightly muddier area there, but you can see some different shades here. So there's like a really lovely violet colour that's come out there and a lilac-y colour. You've still got quite a big band of pink there, but this time the white is much more discreet. Right, last but not least, 3 of each colour, the 3 layers of each colour. So again, I'm going to just do this as similarly as I can to the other 2. Right, so there's a lot more muddying. So that golden turquoise has definitely blended more. Look at that. How has that happened? That is beautiful. So that is very similar to number 2, because you've got these beautiful different mixed shades and mixing with the white there. This is such an exciting experiment. I hope that you enjoy watching this as much as I'm enjoying doing this, because I'm genuinely so interested in the results of this. I've been paint pouring for quite a while and I've done lots of straight pours, but I have never been able to do a direct comparison like this before. So exactly the same again. Let's go off that top corner. And then off that other corner. Let's turn it around. Wow, it is totally different again. You've got a lot more blending of colours this time. And again, I'm just getting the weight back to the centre. it's getting busier. So each time I've done it, the painting is definitely busier and busier. So here they all are side by side in the position that I poured them in. Sorry about the mess on the workbench. So different. So number one, a very, very obvious band of white, which I knew I was going to get. So you've got the obvious distinct gold, turquoise, not the blue because that was tipped off, the white and the pink. So big blocks of colour. I love how you've got the little bit of pink there just threaded through that white. That's really pretty. And the little fingerlings here in the centre are just beautiful. You've got a little bit of mixing here. You can see some of the transparency of the paints where you can see colours peeking through. Look at the gold, look how sparkly it is. I haven't used Montmartre gold for a while and I forgot just how sparkly it is. It's so pretty. So if this was a painting on its own, I think I'd be tempted to maybe tip some of this corner off, just for composition, because that is a big white statement there across. I think that's probably what I would do. But then I'd lose this. I mean, these look like peacock feathers. No, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'd leave it exactly as it is. So let's move on to number 2. So you've just got right in the centre some amazing mixing of colours, blending of colours. So some pale pinks, purples. You've got the beautiful fingerlings. You've got some nice, lovely turquoise section there. A little bit of muddying. The only bit I can really find is this bit here. So that is just a bit of a blend of colours. I think it's the gold and the turquoise, and it looks absolutely fine, but you can see it's not one of the clear distinct colours like it is here. Oh, look at that gold over the top of that pink. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. I'm going to use my Montmartre gold more because that is stunning. In the centre, you've got the white, but just nowhere near as much. And there's lots of little bits of pink scattered through it as well. So really happy with number 2. I really like the composition as well. I think it works really well. Moving on to number 3. Now, this is so interesting because that white section, why does that seem bigger? That seems bigger than on number 2. And yet I would have thought it would have been smaller. There's definitely more muddying. So you can see the colours, you've got lovely, lovely lines, but there's definitely some more sort of non-descript colours. But the difference, the main point this time is you've got the lines. So look how many lines you've got. You didn't get that in the other 2. And just looking at that corner, there's lots and lots and lots of lines. So the more layers you have then, the more lines you get. And also if you look in this corner, again, lots and lots of lines. But look at this beautiful section here. So the colours have blended and mixed to make such stunning colours. And can you see how 3D it looks? The colours are just layered on top of each other. So again, I really like number 3. I'm absolutely amazed. So it'll be interesting to see how these dry. I think if I'm being totally honest at the moment, my favourite is number 2. And then I'm torn between 1 and 3. I'm really, really not sure. So I'll be back when they're all dry. So here they are all dry. I've put them in the portrait position just to get them all into shot in one, all into the camera in one go. I've put them in the same order. So let me show you first of all the pour with just the one layer of each colour. So you've definitely got a very obvious white band, very obvious pink band. So the colours are really separate. Even there, the peacock looking bit, the colours are all very separate and very distinct, except for this bit where you can see a little bit of mudding, but you can see the colours underneath each other and lots of lines, which just looks beautiful. So I'm really happy with the first one. I'm not 100% about the composition. I would have kept tilting and altered the composition, I think, if it was just a one-off painting. But I love the distinction between the colours. So let's move to number 2. So again, you've got quite a bright white section and a pink section really similarly, but I think that's probably the only similarity. The colours are quite separate and quite distinct still, but you just get a bit more merging. So even just there, you can just see the colours are starting to blend more. You have a lot more of these fingerlings, of these little lines and folds within the paint. And you've definitely got much more of a sense of 3D here. Now this bit is beautiful. This is like a very lilac-y, pale lilac-y, bluey, pinky colour, which you don't get in the first one. So you can see the colours underneath that white, I think. And then a little bit of muddying, lots more lines than on the first one. There's just more detail in this one. And then let's go over to number 3. You've got the white and the pink, but they're much more blended. So it's a smaller section compared to the other 2, and they're together. So you've got a pale pink. You have loads and loads of lines, a lot more lines with this piece, a lot more details that are a lot smaller. So again, you've got those fingerlings there, but they're much smaller. And then in the middle, this is the totally different bit about the number 3. You've got this really elongated pale section where the colours are mixing. The centre there, you've got a lot more folds this side. So there's just a little bit more muddying, more details, just more details in number 3. So surprisingly, I'm really happy with all of them. My favourite, without a doubt, is number 2. I like the fact that the colours are separate and distinct, but you've got the details, and I just prefer the composition of it. For me, number 1 is a bit too blocky in colours. The colours are just not mixing enough, but I think compared to number 3, I feel that maybe the colours are mixing a bit too much. Whereas number 2, I just think is spot on. You've got the separate colours, you've got all the details, you've got the composition. So that's what I think. So please let me know which you prefer. It's very subjective. Everyone will have a different opinion. So do you prefer number 1, number 2, or number 3, and why? Please leave me a comment. I would love to know. And then hopefully this has been useful, so it will help influence how you layer up your cups in the future. I know it will certainly influence me. So I want several layers, but not, maybe 2 layers of each colour. Great, thank you so much for watching. Do leave me comments. Please do subscribe to my channel. If you hit the notification bell and then press all, you'll get future notifications of all future videos I upload. Great, thank you for watching. Bye.